Please welcome Tommy Lanham.
December the 20th, 2003 was the birth of my first child. I remember nothing else that happened that day except my first child coming into this world. Well, that's not completely true. I do remember the fact that UK ended up beating Indiana by like 30 points that day. But other than that, I don't know what happened to Louisville that day. I know what happened to them yesterday. But I don't know what happened to them. But other than that, all I can remember is this was the day that my first child was coming into the world. And I remember sitting there, me with both my parents, my mom and my dad, and they had taken my wife back to prep for surgery. And I asked my parents, "You've had 5 children and you've raised them. Do you have any parenting advice for me?" And I remember my dad looking straight at me and he goes, "Raise them up according to their personality." And then he said, "That's where I went wrong with you." I don't know exactly what he meant by that. But he went on to say, he said, "I raised you as a typical little boy. Little did I know that I was raising a son with the heart of a poet." That has always stuck with me. The fact that we oftentimes try to interact with people the way that we are instead of the way they are. How many of you have ever noticed that other people are different than you? Right? How many of you have ever noticed that some people are just weird? How many of you have ever noticed that those same people feel the same way about you? Because we're all different. We're all weird in our own way. What makes you tick and what ticks you off is different than what makes me tick and what ticks me off. You know what ticks me off? Running late and not being able to find something. You know what ticks my wife off? Being early and having stuff laying around where you can see it. She calls it clutter. I call it a personal quick retrieval organizational system. That's what it is. There you go. But we're all different. And we all have different personalities. Now, many of us have probably heard the fact that you can group those personalities into 4 major personalities. And I just want to briefly look at those 4 major personalities. I have different terms than you've probably heard in the past. But I just want to run through those. And since we are all communicators, I would like to emphasize how best to communicate to each one of those personalities. First one that I want to talk about are the hearts. I call them the hearts. The reason I call them the hearts is because they are the stability of our culture. They give us stability. They are the security-seeking personality. They are the ones that want to know that there's enough money in the bank, that their kids are safe, that their marriage is secure, that their home is a fun place to be and a comfortable place to be. They are the security-seeking personality. They make up about 40 to 50% of the world's population. Some of the hearts in our world, my wife, she's back there recording right now, is a heart. That's the reason she likes everything so organized and tidy and put together. That's a heart for you. George Washington was also a heart. As leaders, hearts are stabilizers. They bring stability into the organization. If your organization is in the midst of chaos, you need a heart to come in and create some stability there. How do we best communicate to hearts? Well, hearts are what we call concrete communicators. 2 of the personality types are concrete, 2 of them are abstract. The concrete communicators, they want you to tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. They like 1, 2, 3 points and a conclusion. They want everything formatted and easy to grab and easy to see. They don't want to have any guesswork about any of that. Now, hearts specifically, when you communicate with them, you want to create a connection. They're looking for a connection. Each one of these personality types has a time focus. Time focus of the heart is the past. They're the ones who like talking about the good old days. Both of my parents were hearts. They love talking about the way it was when they were kids. Man, if we could just get back to the way it used to be. Because you see, they are those stabilizers. And they like that connection. They are involved in church and other organizations because they want to be a part of a community. And they want their kids to become a part of a community. And so if you're communicating to a heart, first of all, you've got to be concrete. Second of all, you've got to build a connection with them. Especially if you can tell a story that makes them think about the good old days. You've got it. You've got it. The second one I call the bodies. The bodies are the thrill-seeking personalities. They are the ones that like to have fun. No matter what it is, they're looking for the next big adventure that they could go on because they are the thrill-seeking personality. They make up about 30 to 40% of the world's population. Some of the bodies that we have out there now, Rick Pitino's a body, Calipari's a body. Those are the kinds of people, when they come into a room, everybody notices them. Donald Trump is a body. Matter of fact, there's an interesting fact about bodies and running for president. Over the past 100 years, every time a body personality has run the general election against one of the other three personality types, the body has always won, regardless of their political views. They have always won. Why? Because they draw us in. You either love them or hate them, but you can't forget them. They make an impact. Now, as leaders, bodies are troubleshooters. You got a situation that you need fixed quick, bodies are the ones, because they don't like spending a lot of time with things. Matter of fact, their time focus is the now. They don't care much about the way it used to be. They're not real concerned about the way it will be. They're living in the moment. So if you want something fixed and fixed quick so that you can take care of it and move on, bodies are the one. That's the way they like to work. If you want to communicate with a body, first of all, you've got to be concrete, because they're concrete communicators. Second of all, you've got to make it fun. You've got to make it interactive. If you get people up and moving, bodies love that. The third one, they're the souls. The souls are identity-seeking personalities. They're the ones always trying to figure out who they are. And if they ever figure out who they are, they cease being who they are, because who they are is trying to find out who they are. That's just their whole journey. Matter of fact, if you're here and you're a soul, you're more interested in what I'm talking about right now than anybody else. Because it's about discovering who you are. Some of the souls in the world, Oprah Winfrey was a soul. Gandhi was a soul. The person standing before you now is a soul. Our time focus is the future. Sometimes we're so focused on the future, we're no good in the present. Because we just dream about how good things can be. As leaders, we are visionary leaders. We can lay out a vision of how an organization can get from where they are to where they want to be. If you're communicating with a soul, first of all, we are abstract communicators. With an abstract communicator, you don't always have to say the point to make the point. Matter of fact, sometimes they like to discover the point on their own. But you got to make it meaningful, and you got to have a purpose behind what you're saying. And then the fourth one are what I call the minds. They're the knowledge-seeking personalities. They make up about 5 to 10% of the world's population. Their time focus is they see time in intervals. They really don't pay attention to time a whole lot. Matter of fact, Thomas Edison, who's an extreme mind, was so aggravated with people wanting to know what time it was, he went through the building and changed all the times to different times. Because he didn't care what time it was. His time was controlled by the project he was in at the moment. As leaders, they are strategic leaders. They know what to do at what point, and they can lay out the details of how to get it done. They can lay out the strategy. If you want to communicate best with a mind, first of all, they're abstract communicators. Second of all, you've got to stimulate them mentally. If you're not making them think, they're going to blow you off. They're going to blow you off. So there you have the 4 major personality types. Now, many years ago, there were 4 people that were caught as criminals, and they were going to put them to death at the guillotine. They put their heads in there, they pulled the rope, they dropped the blade, and just inches before their necks it stopped. They considered it a sign from God that they were not guilty, so they let them go. Just so happens that one of them was a heart, one of them was a body, one of them was a soul, and one of them was a mind. And when the heart got free, the heart says, I get to spend more time with my family and my friends. The body, when he got free, he goes, party! Everybody come over to my house. I'll supply the drinks. This is a time for celebration. The soul goes, there is a meaning and a purpose that this has happened. There is a reason that we have been spared. We need to go and find that purpose and fulfill it. And then lastly, the mind, the whole time everybody else is talking, was back looking at the guillotine, and finally they speak up and they go, hey, come back! I think I can fix this thing! Thank you very much.